beautiful.
Hello lovers of the world, this is Cinta speaking. Here are the things that I have loved lately this month. In my last monthly favorites video, I curated everything into 3 categories, which were music, words, and treasures. However, I've decided to change the category words to stories instead. I feel like it is a broader term that can encompass things as long as there is a story involved. So obviously things like books, movies, and TV shows better fit in this category, but I kind of argue that things like YouTube video essays and educational podcasts will teach me something new through the art of storytelling and imparting new information. But first, I want to start off with the first category, which is music. Here are some of the songs from the past weeks that I've been spinning a lot. Given that I usually only talk about albums in my videos, this is a way for me to spotlight songs specifically that I've been obsessed recently. So number 1, I have been really obsessed with Good Old Days by Hayley Williams. So Hayley Williams released this quote-unquote album where it was basically a bunch of singles that she released all at once, and then she just decided to put them all together into one big album. And I kind of find that I will talk about this further in a different video, but I guess in this day and age, a lot of people don't really look at albums anymore. So I guess for some people, this kind of singles focused approach to an artist's music is not very too different to how they usually consume music. And the other thing that she has been doing with this latest music release has been retroactively adding more songs to this already quite large album. It was not an original single that she released for Ego Death at my bachelorette party or something. This is actually a single that she's released a few weeks later. This has been my absolute favorite. So obsessed with this. My mind is stuck on the song like a fly on a glue trap. It's just so catchy, so fun, and so heartbreaking at the same time. I really enjoy singing it. It's very like a SZA inspired song that I think a lot of people on the internet are also commenting on, and I think even Hayley Williams herself said that this was inspired by SZA, and the fact that even the title is Good Old Days, like Good Days by SZA. For me, I don't know about other people with songs that get stuck in their heads, but if a song has like a really interesting, intriguing vocal performance, my brain will kind of just latch on to that song because I kind of want to figure out how to sing that song in the exact same way that the singer does it in the studio recording. So I tend to end up replaying it over and over until not only have I memorized the lyrics from top to bottom, but I've also kind of memorized in my brain the vocal flourishes and the delivery that the artist does. I'm not like an amazing singer or anything, but I like to sing in my spare time. I find it really fun to just try and mimic the way that Hayley Williams does it in the studio recording. Of course, I'm never gonna nail it, but it's a fun exercise. It makes me feel like I'm part of something, like what Hayley is going through when I can kind of hit similar notes that she's done, because it's not the same notes because I'm not that good, but you know what I mean. I feel like it satisfies this like itch, a very human feeling of wanting to nail something, and then when you get it right, you're like, I got it. Like, you know, the way the human mind will obsess over something, getting that thing right, and then when you do it, you're like, oh, I did it. And then another song that actually I have a really, really similar experience with is the Mariah Carey song We Belong Together. Now, this is really interesting, the way like certain songs just like resurface to the top. I love Mariah Carey so much, and she has been on my mind a lot more recently because she has just released a new album. I listened to that album. I love it a lot as well. But I've been getting a lot of like either new interviews that she's doing as she's doing the promotional cycle for this new album, or old interviews from when she was much younger, and like, you know, like #GirlBossDiva compilation of Mariah Carey's shadiest moments, that kind of thing. We Belong Together is probably like one of my absolute favorite songs by Mariah Carey. I just had this on repeat for the entire month, just trying to figure out how to hit the same notes, and it's just so difficult. And I think that's why you just keep listening to it over and over, because it's so difficult and because it's so unattainable, your mind just obsesses over trying to get it right. And then one night I was like going through this, you know, YouTube video spiral of watching her old live performances of literally the same song over and over, because every live performance is different. But this one has been interesting because she also did a few years ago the late night Valentine's mix that is just so delicious and so amazing. Or this is the delivery that she's been doing for the past few years, especially since that, you know, obviously We Belong Together is an old song now, so in the sense that everyone's kind of heard it, and so this is her way of kind of updating it, refreshing it, and making it so much more like a Mariah Carey song in a way that other people won't be able to replicate. This is a classic song, but like remade new. So I've been really loving the original We Belong Together and the Late Night Valentine's mix version. So there's two versions of it on Spotify, which is the shortened, straightforward, basically radio mix, and another one that's like 7 minutes long of just the band being like, it's very groovy, very fun, just an incredible generational talent Mariah Carey is. Another song that I've been really into is Stunner by 10. So I actually heard this song earlier in the year, and I did enjoy it as a K-pop single, but I did not think much of it. It didn't really stay in my heavy rotation for too long. However, as I was doing my album a day project, where I try to devour as much of my albums on the to-do list as I can before the year ends, I finally ended up listening to 10's proper like full album properly. And so I listened to this again, and I was like, actually, this might be one of my favorite K-pop title tracks of the year. I feel like because I've been so disconnected from the genre and the fandom for so long that I've been finding it difficult to basically connect with a title track, especially since like I'm not really a big fan of the newer and newer groups that are coming out. Like I don't have an emotional connection to them. But with 10 is a third gen K-pop idol, so I still feel that sense of like connection to him because he came up when I was at the height of my K-pop fandomness. So not only do I have that emotional connection to the singer, but I just think that like this is a great like song. It just feels so sleek and K-pop and seductive. Like it's just a perfect K-pop single to me that I just find so refreshing, given that like I just felt like I've been finding so many of the new releases this year so lackluster. It might just be because of my changing tastes, and I feel like it's a testament that like one of my favorite songs of the year had been from an artist that is from my generation of K-pop. And then another thing that I've been really listening to a lot is the new deluxe songs in the Tate McRae deluxe album, So Close to What 3 ? So that's kind of a late addition to my list because this came out like at the end of November basically, and I did not really enjoy the first single, which was Tit for Tat. I kind of thought it was quite boring, but put in the context of not just the deluxe songs, but actually next to the other original So Close to What songs, I actually like fits in really well. I feel like I have so much to talk about with the album, not just the like deluxe songs, but the entire album itself. I've been trying to get this like Tate McRae album review out, kind of like what I did with the Camila Cabello and Sabrina Carpenter videos, but it's just been such a undertaking to write and film this that I'm kind of glad that I haven't been able to get around to reviewing the original album, because now I get to review basically the original album as well as the new deluxe song. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise, but I've been really enjoying these deluxe songs. My favorite has been Anything But Love. There's a song that I don't listen to a lot, but I'm kind of just amazed by Tate's direction. She's doing a lot of like Lana Del Rey-esque songs. For example, Trying On Shoes. Like it's so like Born to Die coded to me that like I just find incredibly intriguing. So, and that's the end of the first category. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is stories. So like I said earlier, this category will encompass anything that I learned something new from and basically has a story within it. So this first thing is a bit straightforward because it is a book, but it is a non-fiction book titled Dance of Life, Popular Music and Politics in Southeast Asia, written by Craig A. Lockhart. So I borrowed this from the library because I am trying to prepare for my PhD proposal, and I specifically wanted to read the chapter about the Philippines. And I think the first chapter is also really intriguing. I haven't gotten around to reading that first. I kind of jumped straight into the chapter about the Philippines. The first chapter is called Popular Culture and Music in the Modern World. So I'm assuming that kind of just lays the foundation of what does it mean to make popular culture and pop music in modern world, and what does the modern world even mean. And chapter 3 is the one about the Philippines. It's titled Philippines, Pinoy, Protest and People Power. I've been finding it a very helpful chapter so far, so that's been really helpful. And then, okay, this one's interesting. I have been trying to reduce my Instagram reel usage. So we live in a world where it's really difficult to navigate the world without using your phone. So I have to start thinking of the phone as a tool and not just like a black hole. So that's the first step to kind of shifting my relationship with it. Instead of seeing it as the enemy, I just have to remember that it can also be my friend. One of the things that I've been like trying to redirect my attention away from is Instagram Reels and Twitter. I'm still on Twitter because a lot of the fandom artists that I like are on there. But if I want to learn new things, I've been trying to divert my attention to Substack. And it's also another thing where I find it difficult nowadays to kind of keep my attention on reading for too long. Even though I read books, they're mostly done through audiobooks, and or if I try to learn something new, I like look for a podcast or a video essay about it. So Substack, I think, is a great kind of in between for finding accessible texts to learn new information. But what's ironic about all of this is that the Substack article that I'm about to share is something that I could not have discovered if I was not on Instagram already. So basically, I found this what do you call it, magazine that was being advertised on Instagram. I think one of the people I follow like shared it on their stories, and the article that I saw is one called Overview of the West Papuan Independence Struggle, and the Substack magazine publication thingy is called Temo Kalati. So Temo Kalati, according to their bio, is a socialist paper for Pacifica Democrats. So I found that very intriguing. I would love to support more Pacifica creators, but also I've been trying to learn more about West Papua and the West Papua struggle for a while, and I just felt really happy that I found kind of a text to fill that void for me. So I found this very packed and dense with history, so it does require a lot of attention and focus to absorb the information and how everything kind of fits together. What it does well is that it can act as kind of a go-to text for someone who doesn't know a lot, because you can kind of refer back to it and it's still quite accessible. So more accessible than say a book or even a journal article about the West Papua history. So, and I like that I'm able to support, a creator that aligns with my values. So I recommend it so that we can all learn more about international struggles and find out how we fit into calls for solidarity, etc. The next thing that I've been loving a lot is the new installment in the Benoit Blanc series titled Wake Up Dead Man. It is the third movie and a trailer. It's basically set in a small village type town, and the protagonist is a priest, and the mystery revolves around a priest who is murdered, and it's set in like a church, and everyone is basically brainwashed. I don't really know how to explain it very well, but I just found it such a really wonderful watch. I was able to attend a limited screening of it at my local cinemas with my friends, and it was just so incredible because one, I love going to the cinema. It's such an event to me. I find it really difficult to watch a movie if I am just at home, because I find myself like way more susceptible to being distracted. So I just like going to the cinema especially for a movie that I'm really excited for. And two, like I like this local cinema because it makes me feel more a part of my community. And wow, did the community show up? I wasn't really sure how populated this was gonna be. It was so full, like it was like basically bursting at the seams when we arrived, and I loved that everybody was very naturally reacting to the movie. Like it's just so much more fun when everyone's like enjoying it together. So everybody was laughing, and like there's so many gasps, and just like added to the experience of watching the movie. And this movie is just so incredible because as a Agatha Christie fan, like I just saw so many nods to her. Like not only is it amazing murder mystery, but it is also such a beautiful love letter to the genre and to this particular artist, but mostly the genre, because for once there was another person mentioned that wasn't Agatha Christie. So we are going through like a murder mystery renaissance, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so here for it. I just love it so much. Please watch it if you haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to watch it when it finally arrives on Netflix. And then lastly, on the stories category, I have the A Bit Fruity podcast. So I've been an avid watcher / listener to this podcast for basically over a year now, maybe even 2. And I just wanted to shout it out now because I have been really enjoying the most recent videos, and I loved it so much that I wanted to go and pay for extra content on the Patreon this month. Matt Bernstein, who is the host, is such an incredibly intelligent and kind creator. He is not only so eloquent with his arguments and thorough in his research, but he has also introduced me to so many other smart creators because they have been guests on the show. There's so many things that I didn't even know existed until they talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, it's just been like a real eye-opener being able to follow the podcast and learning so much from him and other people. And that's all I have for this category of favorites. We're gonna move on to my final category, which is treasures. So treasures, in the same way that stories is a pretty broad category, are just things, items, objects that I've also been loving a lot. So number 1 on this list is my new favorite drink. This is raspberry and strawberry fruit tea, a bit of lemonade, and mix it together, add a little bit of sugar if you want it sweet, and some ice, and it is so refreshing, especially because it's been spring in Aotearoa lately, and it's both sunny and humid, so the heat is kind of just like all over the place, but this has been so refreshing. I don't drink enough water. It's another bad habit of mine, but thankfully, like, this has just been encouraging me to drink more liquids in general. And then other favorite treasures of the month are these 3 new tops from Cotton On. I'm actually wearing one right now. So for a long time, I have been wanting to buy more summer vibey tops. I actually don't have many that are made from very light material. I have many that are from knit. And for a long time, I thought that because it's not an essential need, I would eventually find something that I would like and would suit me at the thrift store. But it's actually been so many months that I haven't been able to find what I wanted that I decided to just cave and go to the department store and get something that I would really like. And I feel really happy with my decision. It just worked out so well. So I got this one. This is all 3 of my shirts are from Cotton On. This was part of a collab with the Kodak camera, I guess. I don't really understand why. The other shirt that I have, and I bought this other shirt that is just like a plain pink tee that I feel like can be quite versatile and very easy to pair with lots of different bottoms, and it's just really nice for the summer. But my favorite of the 3 tops that I bought is actually this very cool just deliciously brown mocha colored top. I'm so obsessed with it, like really getting into a specific shade of brown. Not all brown. Shades like this where it's like deep and rich and warm and reminds me of coffee, like feel like I really want to add more pieces like that to my wardrobe. Speaking of items that I bought at Cotton On and is something that I've actually been thinking about buying for myself, I also got myself a scalp massager. You've probably seen these because it's just part of the random stuff they put at the front of the counter so that when you're waiting for checkout, like you have nothing to do except look at this discounted stuff. Like every time I step into the shower, I always end up thinking like, wow, I wish I had one of those things that other girls use to like massage their scalp. And every time I think about that, I always banish it and I'm like, oh my god, it's not an essential item. And you can, do the same effect with your fingers, like, don't be dramatic, just like you don't need it. But because I was there and because this is something that I literally have been thinking about multiple times, I got it. I think it was $2 anyway because they were having a sale, trying to get rid of stock, of course. This just feels it's a scalp massager, of course, it's relaxing. But I genuinely feel like it is helping my scalp more with getting rid of the dirt because the way that my scalp has been feeling I feel like I do notice a difference. And whether or not it's placebo remains to be seen. But I am really happy with this purchase. So that is a favorite of the month. Another favorite of the month are these zines because I had gone and tabled at this zine market recently with my sister. And these are the zines that the other table holders traded with me. So this one is called How to Business and Never Fail by Abel. They were really, really sweet. Actually, everybody who traded zines with me were really, really sweet. This one is so sweet. This is actually a zine made by a quite young child, and she was just so adorable. This is another zine another zine that was made by a child. This is actually the sister of the other girl, of the person who made the other zine. And this is my favorite. I mean, look, it's hard to pick, but like I just have to say that the fact that somebody else loves this movie was a huge win for me. So someone made a zine about Clue, which like you may not know this about me, but this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's just like, it's incredible that somebody just made a zine about one of my favorite movies who knows what this movie is. It's like seeing a unicorn in the wild, finding somebody who not only knows what this movie is but loves it enough to make a zine about it. So I saw this on their table and I literally like screamed. I was like, this is the greatest thing of all time. Like I'm gonna hang this up on my wall. I want to buy 5 copies of it. Like boom, boom, boom. Like I love this movie. All right, last treasure of the video. So this is actually the same day that I bought those 3 tops. We went to the thrift store later and I found this book. It is The 9 Tailors by Dorothy L. Sayers. She's one of those authors that I keep collecting even though I haven't read all of their books yet. I low-key hate this book cover, but because it was so cheap, I just felt like, okay, might as well. It's also a book that I haven't had before, and my logic when in regards to books is that like, well, if I have the copy, then I'm more likely to read it in the future. But given the state of my bookshelves right now, I feel like that's not really a fair thing to say. But I'm glad I have a copy of this book. I feel like I'm one step closer to being able to collect every book from her bibliography. So that's exciting, and that's it. That's just a few things that I have loved this month, but I really hope you enjoyed listening to me talk about them all. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. I will see you guys next month with more stuff that I've discovered and more stuff that I have loved. Bye!